Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Footium Ramble, the very first live episode of the Footium Ramble, and we are live on YouTube. And it is me, SR Monkey, and my co-host just below me on the stream, and that is John. How are you, mate? You well?
Fantastic, my friend. Finally, our faces for radio have come live. The
Yeah,
poor
we'll
people
be
out there,
cracking screens all over the
video.
world. Well, for the people that are watching anyway.
Hopefully, my light is not too shiny. Reflecting back into dazzling people who are watching in.
I did ask you for some photos, didn't I, to build the thumbnails, and you sent a few across, and like all of them were like at a weird angle, so it was like the sun was reflecting off your forehead.
I think that most of them were like when I probably had a few beers in me at the races or something. I'm trying to take pictures of me with, I don't know. Anyway, as like you said earlier, I don't really take a whole lot of photos of myself. So.
No, same. Yeah, that's why and I apologise. Hopefully I haven't offended anybody, but the only photo I've got at the moment is me with that like the headgear on when I went to Dubai. Yeah, take it with a pinch of salt. But it was a cracking headgear for the desert. I thought it would be too hot, but yeah, I wasn't. But anyway, listen, we're live. We've got a few people in the chat. We've got So Legendary first. Man who plays all the Web3 games. I think he was one of the people that was in my ear trying to get me to join Footium originally. We got CM second on the podium, and then Barclay McLovin FC. Lads, this is a podium, right? Correct. You are third on the podium. We don't normally do that. That's more of a laird thing, but sod it. We're here, so let's go for it. And then we've got Wild Rover Sports. Hey, yo, lads and ladies. No ladies, unfortunately. Just stuck with two old guys. But
that's Willie. That's Willie, not my Willie. Willie's older than me, ain't you, Willie?
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I've never asked you, but I'm older than you, aren't I?
Oh no, I look younger. No, I'm 48. What are you?
52.
Ah, well.
It's going to be one of the oldest combined age for streams here. It's like an OAP stream.
It's 100. It's a century between us, my friend. The experience is there.
Yeah, exactly. Experience has got to be good for something, hasn't it? But anyway, mate, listen, it's been a while since we did any Footium Rambles. I think mainly because we were both in a bit of a weird situation last month. One, I was quite busy. I think you were quite busy as well. Then you were ill for a little bit doing your triathlon, and then kids passing around all kinds of bugs. But we're back again.
Yes.
And it was a bit of a weird season last season, wasn't it? I mean, I got promoted the season before for Honch to D3, and I really didn't have a team to compete. I did look, and it was just ludicrous. There were just so much better than my team at the time. Still better than it now, actually, that I just thought, well, I sort of zombie them. I put a team in there, and actually it went down to the last game of the season. I nearly survived. I don't know how it got that close, but it was crazy. So anyway, last season for Honch was a bit of a white, it was just sort of like play it out, beat the zombie teams and see if I could stay up. I did not stay up. I got relegated back to D4, and I stacked my two lower teams in D6, D7, and they both got promoted. So this season, I am now rocking Honch in D4 again. And we'll go through the teams a bit more in a minute. And then Gridgewaffle in 5 and Farnham in 6. What about you, John? You had, obviously, your two main teams were up in Div 2. And I remember checking in after a few games and things were not looking good. How did the rest of the season pan out?
Well, the plan last year was to survive in D2. I had lots of training to do. So trying to get up into D2, I just couldn't train anybody because there was no gaps. I just had to play all my best players to get up into D2. So I had two teams in D2, and I said, if I can try and survive and get all the training done, that would be awesome. The first few games, I was rock bottom, which didn't. But I got the training out of the way in one of the teams, and I kind of did all right with King Stanley, and I think I finished 6th or 7th or something like that. Actually, with Dunton Rover, 6th or 6th, I think. But with Kings, it was went down to the wire, managed to stay up, and just second last game I stayed up, and that's where I finished. But I got all the training done, so it gave me a little bit of a choice in D2, to pick a league really to go into, because I combined the squads then because I had 6 retiring. So I hadn't got enough to field 2 D2. So I've just put them together to try and give me a choice of see which team, which is the stronger division league in Division 2. And I put all my players in there, and I have a few. I'm trying to sell off a few players as well at the moment, just to because I need to buy a couple of more players just to make me rock solid. So this season, I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for, Dunton or Kingston, but
with Dunton, you've absolutely stacked at the moment. They've got like a gazillion players in gold. Are you going to change it around then?
Not sure yet. I'll just see as we get. Well, I can't really now. We're locked in, aren't we? But I had thought that Dunton was the one to go with because it looked a bit more flatter rather than having 2 or 3 really good teams against me. I would probably have more of a level playing field in Division 2, League 2 with Dunton. So that's what I decided to do. But it's pretty stacked up there, and I suppose just for guys who I've been here from the start, and it's taken me a while to get to this position. So I haven't bankrolled really. Just bought rares off the bat. I've kind of, as I won, I've bought a player. As I've won some money, I bought a player. As I got promoted, I bought a couple of players and tried to plan to get to this stage where, with my training, I was hitting goals and decent rares as I picked up along the way. So that's what I've sort of been. That was my tactic from the start. So I'm really looking forward to this season because this will be if I can get top 4, that'll be amazing. And I probably I've got only 2 players retiring in not this season, next season. And I'm already, I've basically picked a couple of guys out of the academy. One of the guys that you were sniffing around at one stage. So he'll train all for the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, I noticed that he was sitting in there. That was a card I would have liked. But you did have another one, didn't you? But I don't know whether you've...
he's still in the academy. He was in... Dunton. He was in Dunton Rovers. So
I'm still debating over him, but I did buy in a sort of a cheaper option that was as good as him now, but unfortunately doesn't have the ceiling. But
well,
it's expensive at the moment. Like I think last season I earned, I can see, can't I? But 0.053, which is essentially 1 mint, isn't it, in like D2?
Yeah.
So, I had a few players retiring, so I did need to make use of one of the new features we'll speak about in a minute. And so I guess with with Dunton then.
Yeah.
How strong is the division they're in? Like I'm just looking at. I recognise Penn City. Pat Martington, because they won the division I was in the last season, I think.
Yeah.
I don't recognise any of them. Do any of the other sort of big names within the community own these teams?
Yeah. So Bachman. Nora is PSU fans too. Then Bachman has either Sylvia. I think he's Sylvia, and he's got a strong. That's a pretty strong team. He has. Lutel, I'm not sure who owns that one, but they also have legendaries in their team. When I look at full-time whistle on, the number tab 4, it kind of puts me in 3rd place with average rating. But again, you pinch of salt with that sort of stuff as well. It's hard to know. I mean, it's really, the website is great. You need to just go in individually and have a look at the players. Lutel that's my first game of the season. I'm like, oh my Lord, do I just try, a cup two a centre midfielder to train up? Do I just, but no, I think I'll just go all out and try and go for it. Because I think this is my second game. See, look, he's got 40 players in Lutel, and he's got like about 7 or 8 legendaries, 9 legendaries. So it's tough at the top, in the top half of the league. But I'm gonna try cement in 6th, around where like Mozza in Penn City, where he finished last season. He did really well. His squad was sort of mid-table, but tactically he's just really good. Whatever he knows, and he's able to pull wins and keep himself up in that. I think he's either 4th or 5th that last season with a kind of a medium to lower end, not lower, kind of a 7th, 8th kind of team. So there will be big games this season. I'm looking forward to it. Again, my kickoff time is not great for me. Still 4. I think it's 4 a.m. for me. So I'm not sure how many games I'll get up for. Who knows, David?
Are you're only 8 hours. You're more than 8 hours ahead, aren't you?
I'm 9 hours ahead of you.
Yeah. So what? So 5 a.m. it'll be. Yeah, I mean that's too early regardless, isn't it? But yeah. I guess for big games towards the end of the season, you sort of you think about getting up, don't you? But
well, that's it. Well, I mean, I might get up for the first 2 or 3 games just because it's 5 a.m. It's not terrible here. Like sun comes up early, so birds will be chirping. Might have a dip in the pool. Sun will be out, David. That sort of way. So that'll be okay. But no, I can't see myself making 2 to 4 games maybe all season. That's probably what I'll get to.
Yeah. I guess like for my teams, so like Honch Hotspur at the moment, we are currently predicted second. But as you said, like, if you look at some of the other squads, then they've got sort of higher average ratings on sort of certain players, and some of them have got more rares than me. And, but it's quite a close division. Like, looking at in terms of average rating, it's sort of 63 is the 64 is the top, 63. I'm nearly 62. It's fairly close between them. So, I mean, at the moment, they're predicting me second. I would like a sort of top 4, I guess. Top 3 would be amazing. Got Chorth City back in with me here. Back in with Honch.
Perennial with you, and that's Jack P's team, isn't it?
It is. Well, we were in the same division last season as well with in D3, but he zombied and I essentially zombied. So basically, we were just like, fighting it out for who was going to be the the best of the shit sides. But which
you won.
Yeah, I did win that, but I mean, I think he only had like 10 players, so I don't take that as much.
You do have quite a good balanced team. So you've trained obviously because you obviously got relegated last year. You had an opportunity to train some of these guys. So
all of these guys were on Gridgewaffle last season, and they were locked up for promotion with about 3 games to go. So I basically just absolutely smashed like progression on pretty much all the cards. Yeah, as you can see, the only ones that I've got any progression available really. I've got one with one on a rare card, which I might do early on. I don't know, and then one on like a bronze striker who's basically just like a depth piece that probably won't get many games. But
what's the strength of your league like? Have you got a full 12 active? What's the bottom like? Is it
on full-time whistle at the moment? It is showing 10 teams with sort of proper sized squads. Then Lyman Town have got 9 players in. I don't know whether because this only updates once a day, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it doesn't update immediately anyway. So I don't know whether people made changes yesterday. Let's have a quick look. But yeah, I don't know how often. Do you know any idea how often it updates?
No, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, Lyman. Yeah, they have got 9 players, and then one of the sides is a zombie. So essentially 2 zombie teams then.
All right.
And then all of the rest of the teams. I mean, there's a 6-point spread across the rest of the team, so it really isn't that strong. So it really isn't that big a gap. So it's going to be quite a fun league, I think.
Yeah, I just jumped in when you were chatting about full-time whistle. I went to the visualizer again. I hadn't been in since yesterday, and now I'm ranked number 1 in the power rankings and medium rating. But we've got 9 teams, and I probably would say those 9 teams are relatively competitive to each other. 73 being the highest, which is me, down to 67. But yeah, I think it's it'll be a tough battle, I reckon. But I'm happy to see myself at the top there. I'm not going to lie. So
if you don't win the league, then you fucked up.
Stop it. I'll just blame the kickoff times, David. Come on. No. This is the problem. Like I have. So the problem I have is that I know that like someone like Moza, and I can see Kenny is in Whitney Town there. Like these are good, guys have been around for a while. Bill's Up Rovers, Nora, PSU fans. These are all experienced managers, so they know what they're doing. They'll look at my lineup and they'll know probably I'm not going to be there, and they're going to, use that to their advantage. Now, how much in-game tactics make a difference? Well, I think that it's a lot. It is a lot. Like a lot of games I was playing against even teams, and I was getting beaten 2-1, 2-0 last season. But then a couple of games I got up and just managed. I was there, and I won 4-0 against the same team. So, but I was there making changes. So I think it plays a huge part. I don't know, from your experience at this stage, you've got a good few seasons under your belt now. Have you felt you being there makes a difference, good or bad?
I don't know. Like when I sort of, I guess I always feel like I make an impact on it. Whether that's a positive impact is a completely different matter. Like sometimes, I've watched games live and I thought, oh, I'm 2-0 up. I'm, cruising. That's going to win it easily. So I take off all my best players, or 3 of my best players, and just think, there we go. And then I draw the game. And I think, okay, maybe I would have won that game if I wasn't watching it live. But, I think on balance, I think it definitely helps you if you're watching a game. Because you can just, generally I've gone ultra attacking probably last season, maybe for 20 minutes all season for like my best team. But often that actually helped. And I ended up winning games that I was losing, or, all kinds of things happened. So I think it does make a big impact. I don't know, what do people that are, watching the stream think? Like when you're playing the games, does it make a big impact? Just having a quick look at what people are saying. Yeah, no, I think, it makes a big, for me, I like having the control when you're watching the live games. Like I'll have alarms set up in my phone. I've got 3 games back to back now with the times and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Which is good, but that, if I'm going to watch them all live, that means I have to pencil out essentially 3 hours of my day every single day. So there will be some days where I'm not sort of too focused on some of the teams, probably the Farnham, because they're sort of like the lowest one. But the majority of them I will be sort of like, at least having sort of a look at and, following. But like, how often do you get up like early to do the games then, or how often did you get up last season? Because last season you had a lot of big games that were sort of like quite, difficult, weren't they?
Yeah, because last season not too many. Simply because I knew it was just a training season for me. But I did get up on the games. I actually didn't. I didn't play again. I actually left a blank team against the top 3 teams because it was just wasting stamina for me, because I had so many guys in training. I needed to hold on as best. So I played my strongest teams against the lower teams, like anybody 12th, 11th, and 10-9. That's the job. I got up for them, and when I was involved on making changes, it was working. It was working for me. I wasn't too OP against them either all the time, but definitely in the tight games, I would, if I wasn't there, I'd lose just by a goal. And if I was there, I could win 3 or 4-1, making the right tactics at the right time. You mentioned ultra attacking and ultra defensive. I see that at the start of the season, they've said they've tweaked that again to reduce the actual, all-out attack impact. Good and negative end. So, like, if you go all-out attacking now, you're not, there's less of a chance you're going to score, but less of a chance that you're going to concede. But we don't know what those percentages are anyway. So, I don't know how much of a difference that will make,
How often I guess if you were watching a game live, how often do you use ultra attacking and ultra defensive?
Never. It's always, I would only go attacking or defending, depending. I had been doing a lot of defending last year because I wanted to try and grab points as I went. So I did start a lot defending, but you find just that eats into your stamina, and then all of a sudden you can't get your teams back. And it's great because that's strategy like there. I mean, I kind of rotate my team, but if I play 2 defensive games in a row, my guys aren't fit enough, to do the third game. Like, first game defensive, rotate in, second game defensive, first game players are back in again, and you're not ready. They're 91, 92, and if I go defensive again, and then they're like they're starting next games at 84s and stuff like that. So
I think that's
it
the issue,
definitely
isn't it, with sort of stamina and stuff like that. It's like if you're trying to sort of, if you've got rotations in mind and then you have to go ultra attacking, then if you go ultra attacking too long, then the forwards and the attacking players might not be ready for the game after the next game, and that then becomes a bit of a problem. But we've got Wild Rover, as you said, I think, didn't you? He's at your in a similar time zone to you, and he says that his games are at sort of 2 a.m. I guess 2 a.m. isn't too bad, but then you're going to get into a shitty routine, aren't you, of sort of being late all the time. Especially, I don't know whether he's got kids and stuff, but if you've got kids, staying up to 2 a.m. is just, you're just going to be dead by the end of the season. But and then Barclay McLovin says it can definitely flip a game where you've the wrong tactics, and that's something I wanted to talk about a little bit later on, sort of tactics, because I've not, for the first time last season, I did notice that some of the tactics I use weren't quite as successful against certain tactics, but then luckily I can sort of pivot to a different formation, and often that was much more successful. So rather than just changing the attacking or defensive sort of mentality, potentially sort of flipping the formation completely, which is quite difficult to do. But got Barclay McLovin has said, what division were you both in when you started grabbing rare players?
For me, Division 4. Division 4. Like, I mean, I think we were on stream. Remember, you kept bugging me about I was saying I was going to get one, and then you tell me, go and get one. And I'm like, okay, I'll go and get one. And that's the first one. So it was Division 4 for me. I didn't think it made sense to that time, at that stage.
I blame George, because he made it sound like they were so they made such a big impact, and they do. Don't get me wrong, but
well, that's the thing. Like when you're up, you say you're up in Division 2. I'm up in Division 2 now, so I'm playing against rares and legendaries. And you're saying, are they making a difference? I mean, we don't know that because we don't see the game engine or the game mechanics run through, or with the code or their algorithms or whatever they have, right? But I know if I play 4 rares against someone's 10 rares, I'm going to be behind. It's going to be very hard. Same as if you're playing 10 silvers against 6 bronze, your 10 silvers are going to be overpowered. They're just going to be too strong. But Division 4 ramped up a lot. So prize money helped in Division 4. Got some more in Division 3. Got some prize money in Division 3. Bought some more. And last season, I think I bought one more at the start of the season. So I've been just picking them up piece by piece. And that, I don't know if you want to. What about you? I know we've discussed your rares before, but yeah.
I can't remember which division it was in. Maybe Division 5, one of the Ramble community members on the Discord won a competition, I think, for a rare, and it was no use to him. I think he was in D8 or something. So he just said, look, I'll loan it to you for the season. And he loaned it to me for the season, and he did really well. So then we negotiated a price at the end of the season when I went up to Div 5 maybe, and ended up buying him. And then sort of, it's been sort of, I'm not working on the biggest budget. So, it is sort of like, I try and, put a little bit in each month if I can, and also sort of like, raise money through maybe selling cards or obviously prize money and stuff like that, and then use that to try and buy and strengthen teams. I think this season, this is like, I haven't really bought any academy player. I bought a couple last season. There are a couple of academy guys. Let's talk about academies. This, I don't know whether you're watching the stream, but this is my D4 academy. And I was speaking, obviously there was the Footium meetup a couple of weeks ago, and I was speaking to a couple of the guys, and they were saying if you have no players in that squad when like the season unlocks, that you're likely to get a worse academy because they look at it as a zombie team. And I've never even thought that might be the case. And this is the first season where I actually, the end of the season, I removed everybody from all my teams, knowing that I was going to completely rebuild the teams anyway. And then I ended up with 4 commons and 3 bronze cards in my academy for D4, which does feel pretty shit. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a goalkeeper in there, which I'm still tempted to mint. He is 50 rated now, but he can get up to 75. which seems okay. And there's a central midfielder, the first one I've had in any of my academies for Donkeys. But he's 44 at the moment. That's not going to help me. That might help me in D6. I guess 48 after he trains. So I'm still debating whether to sort of mint those. But he can get up to 69, which I guess will be, useful in up to maybe D3. But what about your academies? Were you happy with them this season?
I think your goalkeeper and your centre midfielder are decent. 69 will help in D2 as well. Like my midfielders in D2 right now are 75, 74, 71, 70, and 68. That's my five centre midfielders. So my goalkeepers, I've got a rare, I think 87, but 0.018, and then you put your training on top of that. That's all right.
Yeah,
you do
not too bad.
20 training sessions at 0.1. I think you're not going to get a goalkeeper, I don't think, for 0.03. That's a 75 when he gets up there. I know it'll take a while for him to get there, but in your Division 4 now, I think by the end of the season, he could be easy a decent Division 3 goalkeeper, So at least a backup.
Yeah,
but
I'll leave it for the time being. I don't need them right now because I've got enough goalkeepers. But a couple of the goalkeepers are getting a bit old, so I was a little tempted by those two. But what about your academies? Were you happy with them this season? You got rares in both, but I don't think there were rares in positions that you really needed, were there?
So the problem I have with the players and the rare players, I got one in each in the D2. Simply that they're just too low for me. Like he's 52, I think, and one was 49. It would just take too long for me to get them up to speed. And I'm not sure the market's there right now to flip.
One of them was 48. That is rare, very low, isn't it? It's like, even once you put that, it's going to take ages and ages to get him up to sort of a reasonable level.
Yeah, exactly. So, no real need for me to do that. That I did mint a right back 59, centre back 58, I think left back 58, and that's what I'll just hammer him in my. I've got a third team sitting out there, so that team will just have him sitting in it to go ahead and just train right up. So what else? So that's not him. He had 25 potential, so that's why I took him on. I know he's 18. The boys sent me, I think the guy who runs Krager, who runs Full Time Whistle, sent me a beautiful chart that has all the training, how to get the maximize your training. So I appreciate that. But other than that, you can see, I mean, look, if they had potential of 25s, they would be fine. But I'm paying 0.05 for a player or academy player out of Division 2. So he needs to be able to get to 75 minimum, and stamina needs to be half decent as well. So look, academies are for the future. They're not for right now. Sometimes I suppose, even me, I've given out in the past because I felt like I haven't got good academies, but they're for the future. So this is the guy that I'm going to train up. So he's 59 right now. Across, he's got. I'll just use the extra training, the training boost. So 20 training sessions cost me 0.01. He's 0.05. So if you go onto the market right now, you can't get a central back, central defender 60 over 70 for more than 0.15, I think it was. So it's 2 seasons down the line. Plus, I have my 2 centre backs that are retiring in 2 seasons. So I need a centre back to come in anyway. So he'll be ready to step in 2 seasons' time.
So you could probably get, I don't know, 10 points on him, can't you, between then and now? So, he will be up towards 70 by then anyway.
Yeah. So he'll be heading into gold area then, and he's ready to go then. So, yes, that's why I minted him. But I think that it's like any academy players. If you're in D4, D5, D6, if they've got that potential of 25, and it's a position you need, I think it's a good option to start filling in. And this comes back to a little bit of strategy as well, because you've got to think about 2-3 seasons down the line what the market is right now. Like, go on the market and have a look to see if there's what is a 68, 18-year-old centre back. What price is he? Okay, it might take me 2 seasons of training and a bit of work to get there. That's why it's always good to have a spare team, so you can actually lock these players away in training, and you just train them in that team. And you've literally, as you can see, I've got one club with one team, one player in one club. But you got to think 2-3 seasons ahead. So I'm already thinking about 2-3 seasons ahead now at this stage because I know I've got 2 players retiring. And I don't want to be in 2 seasons on trying to pick up a central defender at 70 rated for 0.15.
I'm just looking at your other team, or one of your other teams, World Wanderers, and it looks like
they're back.
You're reviving them.
Mighty Wall, they're back. They're back. Yes, they are. So I've got 2 Division 6 teams on the go this season. So got World Wanderers, and I've got Whitpost.
Who's managing World?
Leroy.
Okay, yeah, because it's got the little arrow that they're leaving. So yeah. I thought that they were doing. Let's talk about, like, people are asking in the chat about sort of like, what our thoughts are on sort of the transfer market and stuff like that. I guess like George and Sam did a presentation at the Footium meetup in London a couple of weeks ago, and they sort of like gave us a sneak peek of the transfer market and stuff like that. And I think for the development of the product and the future, being able to buy players and clubs on site is a huge leap forward. I'm sure like Sam is, getting to a position now where he's looking at the site, he's looking at how easier it is now to onboard people compared to sort of a few months ago when you have to explain how to go buy a club, then you have to buy all the players, then they, come into the site and all of all that stuff. Now you can do everything on the site. So that makes it a lot easier from a marketing point of view. From a gameplay point of view, I was hoping there'd be something else in there for the season, just a little bit. I don't know what it would be, like a cup, but like I don't know what it would be. Like I'm not imaginative enough to think about all the things they could do, but I was just hoping there'd be something else that sort of engages us a little more on site. But transfer market, club market on site, I think is massive. I've used it so far, drama free, it makes a massive difference being able to search them in there, all of the filters, I can put them in there, and it's very easy to bring them all the players up, buy them, they appear in your club, that's what it says on the tin. What do you think, John?
Yeah, so I think anything that got us away from OpenSea filters is huge, because that was the most frustrating thing. And for the scamming, the scammers out there who pop in and out of every game that we play, David, just them being able to say, hey, I'm on OpenSea, just use this link or scan this barcode and I just take your players. In the in-game marketplace will deter that, because if you're making deals off that in-game marketplace, you're just waiting to be scammed. So always just stick to the in-game marketplace. Completely love it. Think it's great. I think the game needed it. I think it's come at a good time. I think it's easy. Filters are decent. There's a few little things they need to change in it just to make it even easier. But they will do that. But I mean, I've bought some players this season for World and for my other D6 team. I've sold a couple of players. So it works. Does exactly what you need. It's smooth. It's easy. I'm very happy with it. Absolutely. And I'm happy it came. As like you, I would have liked something a little bit extra to come through as well, because I think halfway through the season, everybody will forget that we ever use OpenSea, because that's what we do. We just move on and we want the next thing. I know onboarding is still front of mind for them. I think the rental clubs, they actually were very well received. I think they had something over 90 clubs being actively managed. They just need to now squeeze those 90 teams into the same league against each other, instead of having only 2 or 3 managers and they're absolutely destroying every team, because you want people to have more engagement. Yes, people like to win, and some people love that, and people have bought clubs for that. So that's worked really well, and it's obviously on again this season. But as well, yeah, I think we're getting to a stage in the next 5 seasons where they need to expand tactics. They need to expand the gameplay. So tactics, more strategy within the game, attributes. I mean, I pester them a lot and say, hey, release the attributes. Prove it. Prove they work. Prove they don't work. You know, this is why we're in the game. This is why we want to play. We want to get more in depth, and we don't want to go all the way to Football Manager FM or anything like that. We don't want to have to go that deep. But we want to see our players. We want to see if he's a 6'4" striker that has no pace. You know, we want to be able to put long balls on. We want to do those sort of things. But yes, it has to be built into the game. And yes, me saying that and you agreeing with me is like easy, but we don't code it. Now I know there's talks of an engineer coming on now as well to join the team, so that will help the infrastructure around how they're actually
on now, haven't they? They've got
team has grown. Yeah, which is great because then we'll see more coming quicker. It's just how the team want to deploy that. Like as they say, they're here from the long term. Great, but we also need to see these updates coming. I'm not saying thick and fast, but we need to see them. So we haven't had a gameplay update. We've had the extra boost training. We've had the transfer market come in. We've had the loan teams come in. We've had a bit of onboarding 2 seasons ago, which was great because we had a good influx of people. But now we need to get the game the attractive part. So yes, we want it on board, but we also want that game mechanic for the guys who are here right now to enjoy it, but also the new guys come in and say, hey, this is a good game. It's deep. It's got a little bit more than it has right now. I think the game has lots going for it. It just needs a little bit of, I don't know what it is, a little bit of, a little spice to it. That's what I would say, a little bit more, so we can dig it, so we can look at players and say, hey, he's a left footer, left winger, his paces, we have other games, we know we have other games that are out there who have these things and don't have some things Footium have. So it's just building onto what they have now and how quick they can deliver that to us,
Yeah. A few people were taking the piss out of me at the meetup for mentioning a certain other game too regularly. So I try not mention it. But it's so difficult because I compare these games. I play them sort of both, and I enjoy both of them for what they are. I just think that both of them could improve, but I think Footium definitely could work. Like I remember you, I think you told me a while ago that they had like different stats for players on them, like in the beta or years ago. So like you could see different stats of the players, like tackling or passing and stuff like that. Was that on like an early version or something, or was it like on?
It was like 0.0. It was the first original. I think I sent you the actual picture on your Discord.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I didn't want to drop you in it though, in case it was some sort of secret.
No. It was out like that's what they came with. But they have to build those attributes into the game. So they want to have a centre midfielder whose passing is 97 to have stats of 87, 95% completion pass rate, or a striker who's rated, shooting 99 but hasn't scored a goal all season.
I imagine it's complicated doing that. And I imagine like building like the interface for basically a skin of OS on the site to sell the players and sell the clubs, was a lot to turn around in like a season and a bit. So I understand why other things didn't come. I just think that they, once they sort that out, they need to sort of like work on sort of gameplay and stuff like that. Last season I had a keeper, he saved a penalty at one end, then went at the other end, and I got a penalty immediately. I thought, oh, brilliant. He took the penalty. And he did score it, but I was like, why the hell is he taking the penalty? I've got like, rare strikers on the pitch there. Surely they can really take the penalty.
Yeah.
But just little things like that seem a little bit odd. And there will seem mod to new users, if they're used to playing any type of fantasy football game. Being able to assign those sort of things, I think would make the game make a little bit more sense. But obviously having a live engine, as you said, like trying to factor all of these things into that, I imagine it froze my mind to even think about how they would go about it and how they can, players in real time, the stats can actually make a difference. But, that's a problem for the development team.
Yeah, well, that's they've built the game. They've created a game like that. Like other games are a sim, so they're able to run the data like 10,000 times because it's a sim, because you're not interacting with it during the game. So when you bring on your sub, it changes the outcome of the game because it has to write fresh code as it's going along about this new player coming on. And then if you add in that each player has attributes and it does certain things like I'm glad. So it's not that easy, but at the same time, that's their game, and this is where we're going. And they need to. That's what we want. Paying customers. Customers always right. I might open this door. I'm absolutely roasting. I feel like I'm going to explode here with the heat.
John's got his new setup because he'll be launching a new show, won't you, in the not too distant future? So it's going to be interesting seeing that. So before he had like a dicky laptop. I think you had 2 laptops, didn't you? I just imagine they were like my dad's old laptop, where he had like bits holding them together and bulldog clips holding the screen together and stuff like that. And you had a couple of laptops on the go, a wonky internet connection, and using the webcam. But looking at you now, you look like you've got your own studio in waiting. But I've got
the kids toys in the background. Kind of updated everything in a sense. Like even the internet. Sometimes the internet here in Oz is a bit ropey. Some days it's like flying, and the next day you can't even get it to turn on. But I've changed provider now, and it's much more stable, which is good. But yeah, we will have a Footium show come up. I won't give too much details right now because I don't want to pin myself down.
We will have something coming. Dropping you in. It's definitely happening.
Yeah. No, it will happen. It's just it's all about timing. So yeah, we'll have a bit of fun with it. So it'll be good. It'll be all around live games and whatnot. So that'll be good.
Exactly. We had like So Legendary in the chat was talking about they need a decent referral system, easy deposits. Now onboarding is sorted. I guess onboarding is like considerably better than it was even a month ago now. And we're definitely in a position to sort of do that. I know from like listening to the presentation that George did, and I'm sure other people have had these chats with them as well. They're looking to go after sort of certain crowds, and they see this game as, something that can compete with big games online in the future. And, their expectations are high. And I think it's in a better position now. Do you think that like having a referral system now would make a big difference?
A referral system will help drive people to the game. I mean, we've seen it, in MFL, and we've seen it in So Rare, and we've seen it in Photo Finish, and we've seen it in Z-Run, we've seen it in Alpha Dogs, we've seen it in all these games that have been here down over the years. Referral systems work because influencers have the opportunity to make some coin on it. Of course, they're gonna mention it. And is it ready right now to have that? It's like and not to drop Barky in it, but he messaged me saying he's putting together some stuff on a beginner series. So this is all great stuff. But is the game ready right now? It is, but it's still not the easiest onboarding. I think what So Legendary said, like make it easy to deposit.
I don't know what happened.
They steered everybody away from it. They steered everybody away from crypto because they realized that was a blocker for them because people were like, oh, crypto, don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah, I think I'm sure lots of new users on So Rare don't even know that the game's built on crypto. Because you can do everything in sort of dollars or whatever currency you're in locally. But I don't see Footium going down that route, but having a wallet on the site would be useful, I guess. I just always think like the interactions with sort of MetaMask, obviously now like it's considerably better. You used to have to, authorize every single thing you did on the site, saving your team.
And we're happy now, and we've forgotten about it already.
Well, exactly, yeah. The only trouble is that now it often comes during a game when it asks me to renew that. So then it like buggers up my subs, and I have to go back and do them again and stuff like that.
Oh, right, okay.
Because if you only log on sort of like when your games are on, then it's a bit of a ball like trying to do it.
Because your first time,
yeah. But training will be going live in the not too distant future. It is today, isn't it? I'm not losing my mind.
I was trying to look at that. I was looking at the announcements earlier on, but I think it's in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm nearly sure.
Really
some games have already started. Yeah, I've got to make a couple of decisions on a couple of rare players that I didn't. Missed. dumbass I was 9 o'clock. I was looking at my watch going, so 9 p.m. over here. I was going, okay, I've got an hour to get my last training session, and completely forgot. 10:05. I was like, at the end of the season, I'm like, you're fucking shitting me. Because I had my big boys, like my goalkeeper, I think he's about 87. Like that would take days for him to do a training, and I missed the bloody thing, you know.
How long does it take? Because I noticed, like, I've got my right winger now, who I think is 79, and it takes 18 hours. So I just thought, okay, every season I need to make sure I put him in just before the deadline. He will never play the last game of the season again, because that is the only way to like get like one easy sort of, you know, free level up. But
yeah, that's about right. So it's about 18, 20 hours for someone up around 80, 85, 86, something like that. Yeah. So it's a lot of time, yeah, for him to be sitting out, because he's a big, you know, obviously be a big player as well.
Nice. And sorry to go back as well, what you were saying earlier about onboarding and referral schemes. You know, I think that definitely a certain type of content creators are attracted to sort of like decent referral schemes, you know, and an easy process for converting people to get those schemes. And I think Footium is probably in a better position than it's ever been to do that. So, you know, I guess well done the team for getting it there. But, you know, we always want more, don't we? That's the trouble.
Yeah. I mean, if I ask you right now, what's your priority? Your priority is more in-game tactics. The team's priority might be getting more people to play the game. So, you know, that's the balance they have to figure out. You know, I mean, I'd like to say I pestered them enough for just asking questions in general, just to say, hey, you know, what are we doing with this? What are we doing with that? Request is coming. Drop me some hints so I can go on David's stream and say, drop any gold nuggets, and Sam wouldn't give me any for this one, so I'll break him down for the next one.
Yeah, it's a bit early, isn't it? After that, we have to sort of catch him after sort of halfway through the season, and then he can start to give us stuff on it. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so I see your first game of the season was against the team who's lost 5. You know, were they relegated last year as well? Because
I think so. Yeah, I think they were one of the team. But if you look at them, they've actually got a reasonably good squad as well. So I was hoping that I could sort of, you know, play the B team to start the season. But I don't think any of my first games for any of my teams are particularly easy. But yeah, Honch playing Susie Villa, and I'm pretty sure they got relegated last season. Either that, yeah, maybe, yeah. I have to have a look, but yeah, they've got a decent squad now, so you know it's not one of the best ones, but they've still got like all silvers, 4 rares. I mean, that's pretty much the same as mine. Like some of their silvers aren't quite as high as mine, but you know we're picking at straws there. But it is quite difficult with some of these, like Gridge Waffle, you know, Waffle Boys. Who have they got first? SWAT New Rovers. Every time I look at that, I think of George's team. This is Swart, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Swart.
Yeah. So they've taken their players out. Okay, that changes stuff. So they've zombied it. Okay, that means I can run the backups in this game. Good job I spotted that beforehand. Otherwise, I would have wasted all of the decent players. But
you can get a training in now. I just noticed that Backman's taken his team out of my third game, Worsk Wanderers. So I have two decent games to start off with, and then I've got Backman's got a free kick, and then I'm on to PSU, who's got kind of a mixed bag of a few rares and a few bronzes and a few silvers. So interesting. So when you're setting up for the game, are you checking to see what lineup the other team has put out? So if we're talking about tactics, and are you trying to counteract that, or are you just trying to get better players on the pitch down?
To start the season, I'll just try and get better players on the pitch. Like big games, I'm sure like a lot of managers, after a game ends, I wait 5 minutes, then set the team for the next day. You know, just so I don't forget and I leave a team. But when I've got big games coming up against sort of title rivals or relegation rivals or whatever, I won't set the team. And I got into a situation, I think it was towards the end of the season before, where I didn't set my team, like the opponent wouldn't set their team. And then it got to like 30 minutes before kickoff. Neither of us had set our teams. And I was like, oh, fuck, what should I do? And I thought, I know, I'll bait him. I'll put a rubbish side out. So I put my B team out. 5 minutes later, he'd set his team. And I thought, okay, I'll leave it to like 5minutes before kickoff and I'll make changes. And I made all the changes. And I think I got a red card in that game. So it felt like something like that. Anyway, I think I ended up drawing the game, but a game I should have won. But yeah, those sort of mind games. Like, how do you feel about being able to see how other teams are lined up in your division before a game kicks off?
No, I don't think you should be.
Yeah,
I don't think you should be. I think you should be able to see the players, but that icon in the players tab shouldn't pop up, because simply for that reason there, yeah, you can play mind games or whatever. But like for people like me, when I go to bed at whatever time, 11 o'clock at night, I have to set my team. So I'm getting an, again, unfair advantage to my opponent. Yes, on me to get up and play the bloody game. I understand that. But I just don't think are we real like football? Does Arnie Slot go in and give Pep the team 10 hours before the game? Hey, figure it out. There you go. No, I think it's something that they should remove. There's no need for it to be there, really. It's not. There's no value add to it, is there? Having them on there.
Yeah, it does feel a bit weird, but it is there. So you've got to try and game the system. So often, I can play certain formations. So I'll go through and cycle through like a 4-3-3-D, 4-3-3 flat, 4-2-3-1. And I can cycle through different formations depending on what I'm playing. Like, so Honch are playing Susie Villa this afternoon, and I can see that they're running like a back three, wing backs, mids. They're not running a cam. So in that case, I'll probably go with a 4-2-3-1 to start the match. But if they pivot because they've got a decent rare cam on the bench, then I will switch to maybe a 4-3-3-D. So I've got a central CDM covering off their cam. So in terms of tactics in the game, it is so difficult, like with the number of subs, being able to actually pivot to a completely new formation. So like I like certain formations where I can change one player, which could have a big impact on the game. And that's what I do with that. But yeah. What about you? And obviously it's a little bit more difficult for you because, as you said, you have to set the teams before you go to bed. But if you do get up to watch a live game, do you sort of like make any changes in game, like to tactics rather than sort of like mentality?
I am a lover of 5-2-3. I've had it either wingers or the left forward, right forward. I've done it from the start. I went away from it one season and I went with the four at the back, and then had that multiple DMAMs, left midfield, right midfield. So all those options, and I just felt I just couldn't get it right. I was chopping and changing way too much. So maybe I'm just being simplistic. So I stick to my 5-2-3, either 5-2-3-A or 5-2-3. But I just make sure I have the strongest players on the pitch to be, better than the opposition as much as I can. And then use defensive or attacking, depending on if I feel I'm under strength or over strength against them.
Jesus Christ! Just looking at Dunton's first game today. That's a very tough one. Yeah. That's probably your hardest game of the season, isn't it? Look how many legendaries they've got. Fuck me.
He's got 40 players, and he's got 9 legendaries. But wait, there's more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 rares, and about 7 goals. So yeah, that's going to be a toughie.
Whose team's that again?
I don't know who Luttle is actually. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's Sam.
No, they'd be relegated to the Sam. Stop it.
Div 8. Fighting to get out of Div 8 like Haber.
Yeah. Poor old Haber.
He did get out, didn't he, last season? I think he got second. I haven't seen any information on whether he's going to, because he's got a phobia against training. Let's have a look at his team because it cracks me up. I've sent him a few teams. It took him, which was it? He's Mertens, isn't he? So basically, he's been in Div 8 for 4 seasons or something ridiculous like that, and he finally got promoted. I think on the last day of the season last season. Like, let's have a look at his team. Sure, how many players he's got? Available potential. He's got double digits on literally like half the squad. Like, never trains. I just don't get it. Like, he's had a keeper. Like, I sent him this guy, Gilles Launay, last season. I thought, oh fucking hell, I need to do something to help him. And don't get me wrong, he wasn't amazing. He was like 37 rated keeper, but it was better than the 2 he had. But the 2 he's got a 30 rated keeper who's got 12 available potential and locked. It's like, why the fuck didn't you train one of these 2 up last season when you were just using these 2 or these 2 or whatever? But
Useless.
it's bonkers.
I was just looking at Lutal there. They spent 8 seasons in Division 1 and 3 seasons in Division 2. So they just got relegated last year. No, actually, sorry. It's hard to read this graph, the performance history. Division 1 got relegated. So they've been up and down, basically.
I'd love to know like who the managers were. I know it's a Web3 game and, you know, like people like their anonymity sometimes, but like for building sort of like rivalry in the division, it's quite difficult sort of tracking down who managers are sometimes. Like occasionally I'll get like an on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and someone will say, "Oh, big game with you like yesterday, you know, well done," or commiserations or whatever. And I'm like, I literally had no idea that you were following me and you were in my division. So I'd love to sort of like, you know, have a little bit sort of better access. And I know you can put the Twitter handle in here, but what I've found is often people either don't put it in or put it in for a team name. So then you still can't work out who it is. They've set up a team account on Twitter, which is great, but I still don't know who you are.
Yeah, and that's it. You know what would be interesting and something cool they could do is like obviously that interaction, the social interaction, like a cup obviously would bring that, right? So imagine I got you, my Division 2 plays. I don't know how they set up the cups, but maybe Division 1, Division 2 cup, and then whatever, or they just do interdivision cup or whatever, which would probably make no sense for Division 1 and 2. Would have to go together. But my point is, to get into that, you need to have your username or handle on the team. Just as to make people, so I know that, you know, that's you and so are Monkey, I saw Monkey, and it's me, JG Web3, and then we have a bit of banter about it. Because I remember back in the early seasons, they used to run those, it used to kill us, you know, those activity things, goals, or you had to achieve certain things, and you get certain, you know, you qualify for certain competitions and win a rare player or whatever, right? But that was cool. That was a good way of get that interaction between managers. So, but you need everybody to put that handle on, or maybe a pop-up message saying, "Hey, update your Discord. You know, get more manager. Get more interaction, get more better deals, blah blah blah, in the transfer market. If everybody knows who you are and whatnot, you know." So, because I've saw a lot of players by people message me on Discord and say, "Hey, I just seen that your academy. I got one yesterday for someone I didn't even know," and they're like, I obviously checked him out, and he was friends with a lot of other people in the fucking community, but I hadn't dealt with him. And he said, "Hey, you've got an academy player. Will you mint him for me?" And he was sending a feel, and he wanted to pay 1.8 times. I'm like, you can pay that if you want, my friend. So he paid us 0.18 for a division, I don't know what it was, 5, Division 6, Division 5 academy player. But if my Discord or Twitter or whatever it was not on that team, and because it was Dalsty, he may have not known that was me, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think also like when a season's running, it'd be really interesting. I'm just looking like an overview of the league. If it had the transfers in, like during the transfer window, like you could see, oh no, look, this guy signed this guy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know, just. You know, because that's information that will be out there in the real world, isn't it? Like you're about to see, oh, I'm second, but like, you know, Lutalua top have just signed another 10 legendaries. Fuck my life, you know. Or, you know, or if they've signed like one card, you think, okay, well, maybe I need to sign one player to sort of like, you know, keep up the chase and stuff like that. But yeah, Lutal is a bonkers squad. Hang on, so you're currently predicted in this division, you are predicted... how the fuck is Lutal predicted 6th?
Well, maybe there might be somebody dragging them down. What's the lowest rated players? They have 40 players. Don't forget.
Oh, of
Which is
course, yeah.
also
See,
it's
that's
also
where full-time
mental.
whistle sort of doesn't stand up, does it? Like when you're looking,
No.
at the squads and stuff like that, it's quite difficult to work
Yeah.
out like the power rankings and stuff like that because
Yeah.
you look at his sides. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one there. But
yeah, I mean, his top 16 players is like 9 legendaries and the rest are rares. Like, yes, yeah, I mean, he does have 55, 56, 59, 59 rares, okay? But still, that's dragging us down. So he's literally the guy who will be trying to win the league. Obviously, he's probably favourite at the moment, definitely.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, but
what would you do if you got promoted? If you came second and got promoted to D1, that'd be an amazing achievement. What would you do? I'm not going to hold you to it. I won't lie,
I would 100% give it a red hot go. Why not? How often will I ever get to D1? If I did get promoted, I would just go and do my best. Because you just never know in any given season how many teams are just in a bit of change where maybe, top Spud for Weld, Stanley have lost a few players. You just don't know how strong each of the teams are, even if we jump in now, or how many teams will play. How many teams will actually play in actively.
Yeah.
Because it is always turn around. Let's have a look right now in Division 1. They have, they have 12 teams, but really competitive. So if I went into that now, if you just purely look at medium rating, I would be 9th. But there's not much difference up to 5th. So, but it would be tough. It would be tough. It would be tough. But no, I'd give it a go, David. Why not? Plus the prize money for getting 9th or for getting 8th is pretty good. I know George with Swartz being, he just bought a centre midfielder, goal centre midfielder there. So he's in 8th at the moment on by full-time whistle.
Credit.
So you have a bet. Go on.
Credit to Spud and World Stanley actually, because we had him on the podcast, didn't we? I guess a couple of months ago now, and I asked him that same question, because he was on the verge of getting promoted to D1, and he said, "Oh, exactly the same as you. I'll give it a red hot go." And man,
he's done well.
He did that, and he's still in there. He hasn't been relegated, which is pretty incredible. I met Spud in person at the meetup, and he's just as nice a guy in person. I didn't recognise him to start off with because when I did the podcast with him, he had a full-on beard and he was clean shaven, looking quite dapper. And it was fun. Could understand him start, but by the time we went to the pub, like probably 7 or 8 beers down, could not understand a word he was saying. But yeah, super nice guy. In fact, everybody I met at the meetup was super nice. Roy Livy was there, and I'm awful at remembering names, but Chris, who's on our Discord. I'm sorry, Chris, if that's not your name, but let's call you Chris. But it
is random. It is random when you kind of chat to these people for a period of time, like say for Royal Livy, and you kind of get to see them and whatever. But it's always weird when you meet up with them. We had something like said down in Sydney, and I flew down to Sydney for it, and it was just wild because you have just this idea in your head of what people what they look like or whatever, and it's just completely different,
Yeah.
So you had a good time.
And apologies if your name isn't Chris, but it's the Football Factory group on the Ramble Discord. In fact, I assume on all the Discords, but I'm pretty sure it was Chris. But yeah, I chatted to him. Super nice guy. Listens to all of the episodes. And one thing I was amazed about, and the love that I felt from some of the people there, they were like naming episodes. I remember when you said this on episode 3. I'm like, bloody hell, you got better memory than me. But I can't remember some of the stuff that I said. But yeah, no, it was super nice the love we felt from some of the people. But yeah, he looks like in his 30s, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to be a granddad soon." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" But yeah, he's
Spud.
No, not Spud. No.
Chris,
Spud was married to like the Footium had done some blow ups, like big cards of some sort of certain players.
Yeah, nice.
And what's the name of his guy that retired when he went up?
Smith.
That was it. Yeah, and he had a card made up of that, which was really sort of cracking to see. And I took a few pictures which I posted in the Discord of him like hugging the card and he put a shirt on and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was a cracking
nice.
event. But I love those sort of things. And normally I can't make them just because my health doesn't allow it. And I'd had some dental surgery that week, and I thought, oh, there's a chance I don't make it. And I thought, oh, fuck it, it's in London, I'll go along anyway. And turned up there. And, I had a really cracking time. And after a few beers, I couldn't feel any pain at all. So that's good.
That's obviously positive. Yeah, that's good. It's good. It's good for them to do that. I mean, just to get people. So, how many people would you have had? Like 20 or so? Would it be around 20? Was that in the pictures?
Yeah, there might be more than that. Like towards the end, a few of the people arrived, sort of friends of friends and stuff like that. But yeah, I think to start off with 20, maybe more than that, 25.
That's all right. That's decent.
Yeah, it was a decent showing. It was relatively short notice, wasn't it? It's sort of like, in London, it was a bank holiday weekend. People have got families, so bank holidays are often sort of penciled out for things. So yeah, I the numbers were more than I was expecting, but and yeah, it was a really good crowd, but really good fun had by all. I know I was in bits. I left relatively early, but I'm an old man, and I was in absolute bits the next day. Like I think Sam as well. I don't know how long he stayed out, but he started doing shots when I left. I think I had one shot then left. But so he said that he was feeling fairly ropey the next day as well. But yeah,
he's only young, so he can get away with it. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How many teams have you got on the go this season? Like you obviously only manage like how many are you actually managing yourself?
Right. So I've got 5. So how many teams have we got left? I've got 5 teams. 6 teams. 6 teams. I'm only managing 1 in D2. That's all I'm managing this year. So full focus is on that one. I've got a D2 sitting idle, a D4 sitting idle, 2 D6s who Leroy is looking after, and I think I have a D7 as well, just sitting there. So yeah, so I'm sort of working through my squad of older players right now, or the kind of the silvers and some bronzes that are in the Division 6. Leroy did well. He got 1st and 4th last year in D6. So here he goes again. I had to bring a couple of players in though. So so kind of the prize money we got out of that, I kind of put back into the go again. So yeah, look, it's still tipping along, but the full focus for me is Division 2. I want to try. I would love to get promoted, but I'm gonna say 4th.
4th. Yeah.
That's what I'm
going with. I think for like Honch, my main team, I think I would probably take 4th. It's going to be super close. It's going to be super competitive, and you always want to get off to a winning start, don't you? But it's going to be sort of tough running through some of these matches. Obviously, Gridgewaffle have got a slightly better, easier game first up now. I've realised, so I'll be making some changes in a minute when we stop to that team. So I've got better sort of options for the second game of the season. They don't have any rares at the moment. I might move one down. The first window is this weekend, isn't it? So you can make changes fairly quickly if needed. So so I might move one of them down, but I don't really want Gridgewaffle getting promoted anyway. So if they came 3rd,
you always say that every bloody season. You're like, I don't want to promote. No, I don't want to promote.
I don't like sort of like essentially zombieing teams. I don't really like doing it. So I'd rather sort of stay in a division and be competitive. But then like the competitive side of me wants me to be uber competitive and win the league. So
So with Hunch, are you going for? Is Hunch a priority then? Is that what you're?
It is. Yeah, because you can get the most money in there, can't you? So like I got like 0.53 last season, which is my worst season for ages. Now obviously ETH has gone up, so we know what's happened with sort of like prize pools and stuff like that. I think that's going to take time to adjust, and hopefully will increase when, we're getting more and more players retiring and people like the academy options start to look more and more appealing to people. So, I don't know how the prize pools will be compared to last season. It's difficult to imagine they'll be much lower. I imagine pretty similar. But 0.53 isn't enough for me to like get a rare. So I need to prioritize the higher divisions. I'm not going to be competitive in Div 3 even now, I don't think. So Div 4 is going to be my bread and butter. So, I'd like to sort of get the teams up there. So I've got 3 teams going this season for like cashes. Farnham, the worst team, I think they're predicted sort of towards the bottom. So if they can stay in Div 6, then I'll be a happy chappy. It's a pretty weak side, but it's got a couple of silvers in there. So, if they can do that, maybe if I can get sort of like a mid-table finish with them, that's good. If I can get, they're not the right one anymore, but yeah, if I can get sort of mid-table, third or fourth with Gridge Waffle and then Honch. The trouble is, like, there's so much more money on the podium, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, even
fuck it, get promoted.
You just go for it. Like even last season when I was just trying to survive in D2, I ended up with 0.16 ETH as prize money for I think 7th and 8th.
Yeah.
So like it's worth trying to get up there.
Yes, I mean, the price of ETH now, that's actually a decent amount, isn't it? That's like
I actually looked at like 2 seasons ago. I won more, but it was actually the same dollar value, let's say. Because I'll still always put it back to dollars. So, but you'll also see the price of rares are dropping a little bit as well. If that's what the game you want to play, or even the high goals, even the goals, they've all dropped a little bit because that's just a conversion to ETH. I still
they've reduced the mint rates of like academies and rares, haven't they? This year, and obviously training sessions as well this season. Yeah. I didn't check, but I think that they haven't reduced it as much as ETH has gone up. So everything just feels a little bit more expensive. I could be wrong. As I said, I haven't run the numbers, but that was my sort of immediate impression. I expected sort of like a bigger drop, but maybe they want to keep it at sort of a level where, prize pools are sort of like, filled up with enough ETH to make it appealing for people to sort of continually buying sort of academy cards and stuff like that. But
and that's right. Like it's people have got to realize when they're trying to sell their players, instead of just dropping them into the sell channel, have a look what's on the market, what's sold. I mean, you still probably have to go out and see the activity levels around that, but that's something maybe Footium can bring in, like have like even a tab of sold players where you can filter through sold, what players have sold for, make it easier to try and price them. But people are just 0.18 for a 51 right wing rare. Like, I mean, no one's going to pay that. Like, realistically.
Training's live.
Oh, training's live. That's cool. And Willie just mentioned there in the comments. Yeah, Loot will they should breeze it, but we're going to fight to the bitter end. Willie, I'm going to take him down. I'm going to say if I could go aggressive tactics, I would. Defensive, build a wall, play like Arsenal did against Liverpool, and still get beat. That's okay,
Yeah.
Look at you putting your players in already, eh? No messing. Don't want to miss any.
Normally, like at this time of the season, I've got so many like new academy guys that I'm literally planning where to go. But because of how I ran last season, I managed to get all the training done at the end of the season. So yeah, I haven't really got that many I need to put in there.
But it is really a luxury, isn't it? At the end of the season, when you're able to do that, it's such a luxury if you've got a certain position wrapped up and you don't have to.
It won't be like that this season, unfortunately. But I think whatever division I'm in and however I'm getting on, then I'm going to need all of my best players the whole of the time. But it's going to be tough. Right, I think that's everything for this week. Anyway, we've been rabbiting on for over an hour. We started pretty much on time, which if you followed any of the other streams that we've been doing is quite an achievement. Both of us have kept connections live, and we're still sitting here. Cracking screens all over the world. But so
that's all right. That's all right.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're catching us after, thanks very much for that. Really appreciate if you could like the stream if you're watching it on YouTube. And we're trying to get the subscribers up. We haven't really pushed the show out or the channel out too much yet because of my ineptitude streaming. I just wanted to make sure that we were, everything was running sort of like smoothly before we start pushing it out, sort of like people. But as you can see from this stream, everything was drama free for the first time. So if you could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, touch wood. But touch wood. But thanks very much for joining us, everybody. Bye.